Welcome to the Healing Trauma Through Conscious Embodiment Summit, revealing your body's wisdom and utilizing creativity in healing. My name is Greg Westwood, and I'm your host. My work, Depth Integration, uses meditation, breath work, inquiry, journey work, and movement as conscious embodiment tools for healing. The purpose of this summit is to support participants who are searching for that deeper and longer lasting healing that conscious embodiment tools support by revealing their body's wisdom and utilizing creativity and imagination in healing. My intent is to educate, inspire, and motivate each of us in taking empowered steps in our healing journeys. Tonight, my guest is Monique Lang. Monique is a psychotherapist, teacher, and healer in Syracuse, New York. She works both personally and virtually. She is the author of Meditation and Ceremonies for Healing and Healing from Post-Traumatic Stress. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
So your topic tonight is connecting psychotherapy with earth-based practices for healing.
Correct.
Can you explain to us what earth-based practices are?
So in the tradition of earth-based practices, I'd like to start with a little meditation, if that's okay.
Sure, that's great.
So get comfy. And I use a drum because I love it.
Yeah.
And because the drum beat actually matches both a normal heartbeat and the heartbeat of the mother of the earth.
Right.
And so it allows us to begin to connect already just by listening to this tempo. So here we go.
Okay.
Take a deep breath in and out. Feeling your feet on the ground. And connect with the energy of the earth. Deep, grounding, nurturing energy. Feeling the energy of the earth. And we connect with the energy of the waters. The rivers, the lakes, the oceans, the energy of our blood, the energy that allows us to flow. And we connect with the energy of air, the energy of thought, of vision. And we connect with the energy of fire, energy that warms us, and if unchecked, destroys. And we connect with the energy of our heart, where all directions converge, all elements converge. And we bring gratitude to all the elements. And to ourselves for our willingness to walk the path of healing and the courage. And take a deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, let yourself come back to this time and place.
Thank you.
My pleasure. So I start with a meditation because when I'm with medicine people, no matter where, they always start by giving thanks to the elements.
Yes.
And in this culture, we've forgotten. And so it's really about remembering that we are supported and informed by the mountains and the rivers and the fires and the air and all the beings.
I know that's so true, so beautiful. So how do you work with people in the earth, different places, rivers, mountains? How do you work with them, for their healing?
So I'm basically a psychotherapist.
Right.
So I work psychotherapeutically. My main model is internal family systems. And so the first part is doing the psychological, mental, emotional work, right? And then, which is the mental part, the emotional part. And then, because of the way that medicine people that I've worked with have taught me, it's about concretizing. So, for example, just very recently, I had a client who was working on early childhood incest. And we did the work of releasing the memories, releasing the physiological as well as emotional impact of the incest. But then I offered to her that she go to the river and bring that young child part and wash her clean of all the hurts, all the trauma, and then to bring her back, wrap her in a blanket, and hold her and rock her, the way you would a young child. And she mentioned that she's been in therapy for like 40 years, and it was the first time that she worked with that part that held the trauma where she felt totally clear of it, that she was no longer triggered, she wasn't having nightmares. So because we are, we carry in our emotional DNA, the memory of being tribal, of doing these ceremonies, of going to the medicine person, medicine man, medicine woman, for the healing. And it happens through the body as well as through the mind. Because, so I'm a recovered psychoanalyst, and my belief is that we can talk about everything forever, but until it is embodied, the healing doesn't fully click. And because I live in this Western world and in this culture, right? Right. So the shamans will tell you, the medicine people that I work with will tell you, go do this, right? Because we're a slightly different culture, I tend to co-create the whatever ceremony, whatever ritual is going to happen with the person that I'm working with, because we also need to plug into their own lineage. For example, somebody from South America will have a certain way of doing things. People from Asia will have a different way. Like, I had a client and I said to him, I want to invite you to create an ancestor's altar. And that was life-changing for him. And he began to understand the lineage of trauma, and was able for the first time, young man, but in his 30s, to talk to his mother. And that brought a lot of healing. So co-creating, I'm not the master of what to do. It's a co-creation.
Right. You talked about wrapping your first example of the woman in a blanket and holding her. What other ways do you anchor what they've discovered?
So one of my favorites is because many people have resentments and burdens that they carry. I offer to people that they go to the woods or the beach and get a backpack or a basket and pick stones. And, and each stone, each rock, and not tiny ones, like big ones, depending on how big the resentment is. And that they put them in the backpack until they feel done, and then either bury it or gift it to the waters and release those burdens. Because, most of us carry 27 pounds of junk.
That's so creative. I love that.
Right. So this is what I mean by embodying,
Okay.
right? And I, I don't have, so water, ceremonies that involve water are usually for cleansing,
Cleansing, right. That's what I was gonna say.
right?
Right.
Burials, earthing the earth is about ground. It's also about letting go, but grounding.
Okay.
Fire is about and also bringing in. So, if somebody is about to start a new venture, we might talk about getting some seeds and planting them.
Wow.
Or after you've buried something, to plant seeds for bringing the beauty that comes from releasing those beliefs, those trauma. So I like to do when you're releasing, always bringing in the gifts, the support. Fire is also about transmuting, right?
Right.
About letting go, but also about bringing in the warmth, bringing in passion, bringing in. So one of the things is like if somebody's trying to let go of a trauma, to write down the trauma and then burn it. I was working with a client and she had this trauma about breaking up with her boyfriend who was like, and he had left a sweater in her apartment and she took the sweater and shredded it and dumped it in a dumpster. And I mean, so it doesn't matter, right? we I am not trying to teach people to work the way the indigenous people work. It's about taking in those teachings that are so profound, whether it's the medicine people of the South, which is where I come from, or, I have a client who's Irish, and so he worked with Celtic. So it's coming into what resonates for you rather than a cookie cutter kind of thing. And no ceremonies, no rituals are the same.
Yeah, I love how you make important not only the release, which a lot of people just do the release, but then the bringing in, or the healing, the integration, the anchors.
Right. I think that's as important because you don't want to leave a vacuum.
Right. Right. And yeah, that's the important part of the healing, the integration.
Right.
Well, yeah, this is a wonderful conversation. I could talk all night. Do you have any last words that you'd like to impart on the participants today?
Find out about your lineage. There's a lot of healing that comes, because part of it is when you find out about your lineage, you also can connect with what we call legacy burdens, right? The trauma, now it's called intergenerational transmission of trauma. Thomas Hubel talks about cultural trauma.
Yeah.
And that needs to be taken into consideration, which is why I feel that it's really important to work with people in the tradition that is true to them and invite them to begin to understand, because we energetically resonate to our traditions.
Right.
So
thank you so much, Monique, for taking this time out for this beautiful presentation. So we'll have a link to your website so people can learn more about your work and how you're working virtually these days. And I guess you're also generously gifting something to the participants who sign up for your mailing list. Do you want to talk about that?
So I have what I call a lineage meditation, which is just what we were talking about.
That's perfect. Yeah.
It's a meditation that allows you to connect with your lineage, those who have come before you, and to garner the gifts. What were the gifts that you received from the people in your lineage?
That's great. Well, thanks for that generous gift. That sounds perfect.
My pleasure. I'll send it to you.
Okay, sounds good. And thanks so much for your depth and your wisdom and your presentation. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. So, namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
So thank you for watching. I hope you'll check out the other experts and presenters in the Healing Trauma Through Conscious Embodiment Summit. Good night.